Kaine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and just a personal word, congratulations on your son's achievement yesterday. That was very, very just exciting to see. I want to ask about refugees, and I want to ask about Syrian refugees and asylum seekers in neighboring countries and the effect they're having on those countries. And I want to ask about our policy here in the United States. Let me begin with the neighboring countries. Sizable, 6 million refugees and asylum seekers, sizable populations in Lebanon, Jordan, Turkey, elsewhere certainly, some in refugee camps, many just kind of living as they can in the societies, and obviously in small countries, Lebanon, the number of refugees compared to the population is sizable, very taxing on the school system and other services. In Jordan, a very water-poor country without many water resources, these refugee communities are significant challenges for them. So talk about just work we're doing. Even, we have challenging relationships with Turkey now, but Turkey is hosting huge numbers of refugees, both in camps and in society. What are we doing with the neighboring countries to help them deal with the refugee issue so they don't become, real trouble spots in countries that have their own internal challenges to deal with?
Thank you, Senator Kaine. You've touched on one of the, most enduring, troubling, tragic dimensions of Assad's war on his own people, which is this essential displacement of half of the population, either internally or externally. And as you said, this has been an enormous set of stressors on countries that are already stressed. Lebanon, you would think, would have broken by now. Jordan equally struggles at times, both in terms of the scarce water resources, but creation of jobs and so forth. Turkey has something on the order of 4 million people, and it has become a hot topic domestically. We are using the generosity of the American taxpayer, and of course of this Congress. We're using the funding streams that we have to offset in every way possible this burden. And one of the things, as I touched upon earlier, was my desire to work in the space that would help to set conditions in the first instance in Syria for IDPs to return, again, in a safe and secure, unmolested manner to their villages. The UN assesses, and we agree, that conditions writ large are not there for the safe, voluntary, and I stress voluntary, dignified return of refugees. And indeed, there's some question whether Assad, or maybe less a question than a conviction that Assad is happy to keep all of those refugees outside his borders. So we work with each country in turn to assist with the nature of the pressures and the problems that hosting these refugees presents. And I will say we led, Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield led our May pledging conference and announced $808 million in assistance, which will help towards that end.
Let me switch to the United States. The previous administration drove down the refugee admissions to quite a low level compared to our historic norms. President Biden indicated that we would raise the refugee cap back up to about 120,000. Last year, 2021, we allowed 1,200 Syrian refugees into the United States, and just by order of magnitude, that was 1,200 in a year, when we brought 76,000 Afghans in the United States within a period of 90 days. We've made a pledge to 100,000 Ukrainians, because of the turmoil there, should be able to come to the United States. I support that on the Afghan side. I support that on the Ukrainian side. The Syrian numbers are pretty low, and they've been in refugee status for some time, so it's not as if they're just brand new in terms of being vetted. Many of these have been vetted through UN refugee processes for some time now. What do you understand the administration's plan to be with respect to additional Syrian refugees to the United States?
Senator, this is something that's under review. I don't have a firm answer for you today, but I will come back to you with that. I am We'll be having consultations with my colleague and friend, Julieta Noyes, who, of course, sits over this responsibility, but I will get you an answer on that. I agree. The numbers are really quite low. The needs are enormous. And my concern is that we manage these set of stressors on the neighboring countries with a variety of tools, including welcoming Syrians to the United States.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I